Welcome back, everyone, to another Company of Heroes 2 replay cast. This time we are going to have a 4v4. No, sorry, that's not a 4v4. I am tired today. That's actually a 3v3 with 3 Wehrmachts. It's been a while since I've seen 3 Wehrmachts. Let's try to see if I can get the game to actually display any sound. So we have Voice Stealer, Hando 64 or 646 Hungary, and Numbian versus it is Stront, who is the guy that's in the replay. He's playing as the Soviets. We have Just Black playing as the USF, and Chiji Sniper as the British. And as you can see, there's a sync error detected, but it was only a hot fix, so I don't think we'll have any problems. Yeah, it's of course Edelbrook Station, as you can see, one of the most annoying maps in the world. But that's fine. That's fine. We'll just go on. And yeah, looks like the Germans are just pushing up north, gonna put up some barbed wire, although yeah, the infantry section easily enough can deal with the pioneers. Of course, if they're building, it's gonna be even easier, and Hando 64 is not really paying attention, so yeah, that's how to lose some pioneers. Of course, here comes the Assault Grenadiers. They can deal with the remaining British forces, I would say. There's an not an MG42, that's a Vickers in support, but it doesn't have the range to actually fire on these guys. In the south, the Germans are actually not moving up, so that's pretty good for the Allies. They can grab the station, they can grab the south, and yeah, just overall flood through the southern portion of the map, so that's pretty great for them. They're going to have a little bit more of a hard time than their allies in the top. Even putting in a flank from these riflemen, of course, he could have just moved into the house and avoided getting himself suppressed there. But unfortunately, that did not happen, so his troops are suppressed and they're forced back by the glorious Assault Grenadiers. And now, yeah, the Allied troops that are trying to cap the VP are getting suppressed by the MGs. MGs which are taking a little bit too much fire from the US riflemen, so one of them retreats. However, the other one is, you know, putting down fire. The Allies are flanking down the south and doing quite well. Despite, you know, the problems up north. It looks like the Axis will actually go for a lot of MG42s. And a lot of MG42s equals bad, to say the least. A lot of MG42s equals bad, and yeah, it's going to be difficult for these guys to deal with all of this. But we'll see. We'll see if they can really come through. And yeah, it seems like we do have some combat engineers in the south pushing up and capping. MG42 gonna get countered. Well, not really countered, but faced with Maxims, actually, from Stront. Stront is going for some Maxims, so tier 2, and he's also got a mortar, so that means that he can deal with these machine guns with the mortar. In the meantime, these Assault Grenadiers are doing some derpy, cheeky moves. And yeah, that's about it. That's about it. Ooh. Yeah. Granatwerfer getting a good shot on the rifleman. That was pretty good. And yeah, now, ooh, Sniper. So with the Sniper, Voice Stealer is looking to get his mark on the map. And I guess that wouldn't be that bad of a thing for him. Of course, he can start to pick off, I mean, Combat Engineer is not exactly the most important target, but he can pick off the MG, he can pick off some infantry. Really, you know, Smokescreen. That's an interesting choice. Just to prevent these guys from firing at whatever's over here. That's a pretty good idea, actually. I like the Smokescreen. Of course, he also wants to normal barrage the machine gun to kill it. Again, that's the usefulness of the mortar. A nice utility to deal with enemy machine guns as, well, pretty much as well as anything else that the Allies can get in the early to mid-game. What's happening here in the north? We just have some pioneers just derping around, laying down some barbed wire, even where there's just already debris, you know, preventing people from just coming in. But, oh well. Rifleman flank. Doubt it will actually accomplish much. In the meantime, in the south, we have the Sniper doing pretty well. Sniper doing his own thing. And, well, thanks to the sniper, the Germans are going to have a very good advantage down here. Here comes the Hurrah, actually. And so the Soviets will try to get in close, and the sniper does not die, but of course he has to escape. So that's a good move. Sniper needed to be microed a little bit more well, I think, from Voice Stealer. In the meantime, his buddy Numbian is moving in with a lot of Grenadiers, rather one squad of Grenadiers. But he's got 600 manpower in the bank that he's not using. So this is, well, I mean, he's really not giving it all. So once Numbian actually starts to build some units, the Axis in the south will have a bit of an equal footing. Meantime, Voice Stealer, because he's effectively 1v2, is in big trouble. He's getting mortared by not just the Soviets, but also the Americans. So the 81mm starting to get some rounds down on the Germans. We're also going to have a third mortar being built, this time a British one, so actually a third and a fourth. With the mortar emplacement, the Allies can really control the central area. Even the VP over here, if they can get some troops into there, it would be pretty good actually to use the mortars to smash up this barbed wire. But if they don't do that, they might as well just get themselves some sappers, you know, a second sapper squad with the repair kits or whatever. I believe they do have some wire cutters. Or actually, you don't even need wire cutters, right? You don't get wire cutters, but you don't need it because you have destroy cover. So you can use this destroy cover to, you know, smash up the razor wire. And yeah, that would be pretty okay for them, but they're not really doing it. Will he do it now? What are you doing, Sapper? Oh, he's... I don't think that works. That's not exactly how the flamethrowers work, you know? You know, you have this thing. Okay, yeah, he's using it. Good. So he will smash up the barbed wire just well enough. Good. So now he can come in and capture it. Well done. Well done. Who's the name of the guy? What's the name of the guy? Sniper. Well done, Sniper. And, oh boy. Oh, no. Oh, no. Don't do this to me, Nazis. Well, look at that. Gunther over here. Fucking running away with a 40-kilogram machine gun on his shoulder. What a hero. Hero of the fatherland. In terms of VPs, of course, with the capture of the north, the Allies are in a good spot, and they're going to counter barbed wire. It's kind of a game of barbed wire, and he's even barbed wiring, like, specularly to what his opponent did. He barbed wire where it wasn't needed. He's also barbed wiring where it's not needed. So, yeah, well done. Really now. That is the Royal Engineer Regiment for Siege and Sniper. So that means that he can get the Command Vehicle Designation unit and later on the AVRE. AVRE, of course, very, very strong in these kind of positional warfare environments, although we haven't reached that point yet. Maxim Machine Gun Crew. Oh, wow, that's a lot of Grenadiers. That is a lot of Grenadiers. So we have 2 Grenadiers, actually 3 Grenadiers plus 2 Assault Grenadiers from Hando 64 Hun. And Voice Stealer down here is starting to have a lot of problems. He's only got the sniper in terms of, you know, decent units. He's got some machine guns, but really he's in trouble. He's in big, big trouble. He's getting kind of carried by his ally up north, Hando Hun. In the south, extreme south, we have some stormtroopers from Namibia and, of course, elite troops. And that's not the worst decision ever to deal with enemy machine guns. You can just try to kind of hide these guys all over the map with the camouflage. However, he's not looking to do that. He's moving in, and yeah, he knew that the machine guns were here. So this was just a bad move. And remember, it's not a good idea to lose stormtroopers because they're very expensive. So yeah, not a good idea to lose them. I mean, not a good idea to lose anything, but especially stormtroopers because, again, they're expensive. Don't want to lose expensive things above all else. In the meantime, looks like the sniper will try to do some stuff, but he's getting fired at by both mortars and machine guns. Has to run away. Hurrah flank from Stront. He's picked, actually, counterattack tactics. He's going to destroy that bunker. And now he's getting countered by that machine gun and this other machine gun, but still he has managed to get some harassment down to the south. The Allies still have the triple cap in terms of the VPs, so they're in a great spot when it comes to that. 341 points left for the Germans means that they're going to have to really get a hurry. Gotta hurry on and move in and try to recapture one of these areas. I would actually advise for them to just kind of ignore one of the sides of the map and just kind of all move together. I was starting to wonder when armor would come in, and it looks like CG Sniper will go for a AEC armored car. An AEC, okay choice, but not the best. Just Black, when it comes to Just Black, he does have the Major. So with the Major, he can get M81s and Shermans. I would go for a Sherman first, whereas Stront has tier 4. So now that he has tier 4, yes, we can now unleash our soldiers' patriotic zeal. So he's going to run in with the shock troops using 4 Mother Russia and, just kind of shouting in Zarodinu. And, yeah, the Axis will not like this. Of course, extra damage, extra accuracy, absolutely smashing that Grenadier squad, the Papashahs. A nice flank coming in from the Americans is going to get shut down by this bunker. Perhaps should have tried to get his units into these buildings. Of course, looks like he did get his units into the buildings, because otherwise I don't understand how they got here. But they got sort of burned out by these Flammenwerfers from Voice Stealer, who still has a sniper. That's surprising. And despite some of these issues that the Allies are having, because again of the bunkers, of the machine guns, they're starting to really get the upper hand. And if Stront can get some armor out, he's going to be in a great spot to really put on a lot of pressure to the Germans in the south, because we don't have any packs on the field. And at 13 minutes, that is very, very bad. We do have a Panzerfear and a second Panzerfear coming in for Nubian and Hendo 646 Hun. Also a Panzer IV from Voice Stealer. That's a little bit of excessive, I would say. You don't need free Panzer IVs. Don't need free Panzer IVs at all. I would have had one guy go for, like, I don't know, something else. Maybe. Who knows? I don't even. Oh. Big Major Artie. Wow. Major Artie. Are you shitting me? Oh well, so now it's gonna be, there's gonna be a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of these Panzer IVs to get some great damage in on the Allies while they're still relevant. Of course, the Panzer IVs, pretty strong, very, very good against infantry, very versatile, but yeah, they're gonna have problems in the later games when better Allied units hit the field. Oh boy, here comes some anti-tank grenades. Not close enough. Not close enough. Second Panzer IV attacks the south, kind of breaks away these MGs. Oh wow, destroying one of those crews. In the meantime, the second Panzer IV comes into the center. He's going to eat a lot of anti-tank grenades coming in from these riflemen. And of course, he's also got bazookas firing in on the Panzer IV. So a bit of damage coming in. However, the Allied riflemen are way too bunched up, and so the Panzer IVs can really easily throw these guys back. And the Axis with the Panzer IVs showing the superiority of the German Blitz once again, and really able to push back the Allies. They're taking the center. However, lots of damage coming from this Panzer IV from the Piats, which is of course not good. The AEC with the command vehicle upgrade is trying to move in, but it's of course a terrible decision, because slower rate of fire from the command vehicle means that, and of course also slower movement speed means that it's going to be 1, slower to kill the enemies, 2, slower to run away if things go south, and things did go very, very much south, so that was bad for him. This Panzer IV still decides to stick in the center of the map with a damaged engine. Might be a terrible decision as a Sherman comes in. Sherman, luckily for the Panzer IV, hits the wreck of the, little AC. Panzer IV also hits the wreck of the AC, and, eats some more anti-tank grenades before the little Stuka comes in and strafes down these troops and forces them to escape. In the meantime, it looks like a Stug E will be trying to come in and, get some 75mm stubby shells into the Sherman's frontal armor, which is going to be relatively ineffective, I would say. So not the best, but also not the worst. The Germans do have, wow, that's quite a lot of stormtroopers. That's 3 stormtroopers with STGs. I would have upgraded at least, or sorry, not STGs, Panzerschrecks. That was kind of a Freudian slip, because I was wanting to say that at least one of these stormtroopers should have been equipped with a STG, because that would have given them a much, much better chance of actually fighting off this enemy infantry. which is quite plentiful and is the main reason why the Allies have been doing so well throughout this game. It's really a question of the infantry at this point, I would say. And especially with the Germans down to 163, it's becoming a lot more important for the Germans to hold off the Allied foot troops rather than, their vehicles. Because, I mean, with lots of 75mm guns on the field from these Panzer IVs, they really have the armor superiority. Only one Sherman and a Centaur on the field for the Allies. No armor coming in from the Soviets yet. That is because they spent the fuel on a Katyusha rocket launcher. Might not be the worst decision ever if it can nail this blob or, the stormtroopers. It would be a very cost-effective little unit. Of course, I myself would have tried to go for, some kind of armor once I saw all the Panzer IVs. Especially a Su-85 would be a great little unit to counter Panzer IVs. Although, I mean, the map is not exactly the best. And, at least the Panzer Shreks are able to do that all right. So, showing their superiority once again, destroying the Panzer, sorry, not the Panzer, I guess, well, they would call it a Panzer, the Sherman. Now, however, as you can see, they're trying to move up, but they're getting kind of destroyed by the suppression. Katyusha barrage does miss, and, it looks like the Axis armor is going to spearhead this advance. The Grenadiers are going to take cover behind the tanks and capture this VP, preventing the machine gun from doing too much suppression on them. Panzerfaust going to go down on the Centaur. Unfortunately for the Axis, that was a little bit earlier, there was a Ostwind purchased. So the Ostwind is actually not that bad of an idea right now because there's a lot of Panzer IVs already on the field. So this can help with the anti-infantry. And the Panzer IVs plus all the other, German vehicles have been able to inflict a lot of casualties on the Allies. At this point, what they need to do is they need to get more AT guns, such as this ZIS-3. They also need to try to branch off into vehicles that can deal with the Panzer IVs, because right now, their soft units that are trying to attack the tanks are really having a hard time, as you can see. So despite the Piats, despite the bazookas, and despite the ATs as well, the Panzer IVs are ruling the field. So what the Allies really need to get is some tanks of their own. Just Black can get some tanks of his own. He's got 140, nearly 140 fuel. So I would say he can get a Jackson. CG Sniper, almost up to 100. Maybe could go ahead and save up for a Firefly. And Stront is going for a KV-1, which is not the worst idea ever, actually. As normally I kind of... I guess you could say I kind of shit on the KV-1 because it's not the best vehicle ever. But against Panzer IVs, it's not a bad decision. Will this AT gun be able to destroy the Panzer IV? No, but it does destroy the Stug 3G. Sorry, it's not the Stug 3G anymore, it's the Stug 3E. So destroys that vehicle. That's pretty good anyway because it's a anti-infantry unit. So despite the problems, again, that the Allied infantry has been having, it's still... the Allied Infantry Corps is still the most important sort of unit that the Allies have. It's kind of the big part of their success. So they don't want Stuggies really shitting on that. Oh boy, that's a lot of Grenadiers. What are they trying to do? That's some machine guns, alright, from the Brits. So doesn't look like that. Here comes a Katyusha barrage. Not the most effective I've ever seen. Not the most effective I've ever seen, and ooh, shot down. Ambulance moved up a little bit too far, gets destroyed by the Panzer IV. There's a bit of a flank from the Centaur dealing with the infantry, but here comes the KV-1, and that is exactly what we were waiting for. However, he's moving in a little bit too close. There's a lot of anti-vehicle here from the Nazis, so yeah, as you can see, putting in a few Panzerschreck rounds into the side armor. Of course, no side armor exists in Company of Heroes 2, but actually, because of all the firepower that the Allies are bringing, the Stormtroopers have to escape, and they escape through possibly the worst route they could have picked. However, they're incredibly lucky, and it seems like all the Allied units suddenly forget how to aim, and they let them escape with just a bare sliver of health. In the meantime, it seems like the 17-pounder AT gun has been built by the British. Might not be the best decision ever, as it's getting flanked by a lot of infantry sections. Sorry, not infantry sections. It is Grenadiers, but the Grenadiers are forced away by the Centaur. So that attack from the Germans didn't really pay off. In the meantime, the KB1 kind of getting chased off by a Panzer IV force. However, it's retreating behind the cover of this anti-tank gun, so it's not like the Axis can really do anything about it. The north should be recaptured by the Allies soon. In the meantime, there's a Panzer IV behind enemy lines. Commando Panzer IV, not sure what it's doing. It's going to destroy this mortar emplacement, which is kind of hilarious. And it can also destroy this fighting position and the forward assembly, I guess. When is anything going to come in to destroy this guy? I mean, the KB1 looks to be moving. Although the Panzer IV might have had a chance to escape right about now. No, there's just a little bit too much. Here comes the Jackson. Here comes the KB1 from the rear. And someone call the police, please. It's a bit of a sexual molestation. Allies trying to move in and recapture the station, but the station is starting to die due to all the shells being pumped into it. Let's take a look at what the Germans are doing. We've been looking at the Allies this, pretty much entire game. This looks like the Germans, we have Hun. I mean, he's got the Panzer IV. He has just lost a Stuggy. But of course, with Spearhead, or not Spearhead, assault, mechanized assault, sorry, can get the Tiger later. Oh boy. That might not be the best idea ever, Numbian. Although that's, why did he use both those smokes? That was not the best idea ever. Not the best idea ever. So right about now, except for, Hun's problems in getting out of Tiger, we have Voice Stealer with Panzerwerfer. That's not a bad idea. Can deal with the, little 17-pounder with the blobs of infantry. Not the worst idea. Not the worst idea. And then we have Stormtrooper guy with, the Tiger Ace later. And he's spamming P4s, readying himself for the Tiger Ace, maybe. Whereas Voice Stealer, in terms of late game, he's also got the Tiger. So lots of Tigers might be coming in soon. And if the Panzer IVs did well, the Tiger is essentially like a big Panzer IV. So, yeah. That's pretty okay. The Germans, however, are not in the best position to be in when it comes to the VP game. So they need to really get their act together. And, oh boy, that's going to be the death of the 17-pounder. Really? Why did you throw a grenade on? Why did you throw a grenade? You could have just done that. Anyway, with the VP game, it's starting to get a lot better for the Allies. Or, sorry, not for the Allies, it's for the Axis. Huh. That's not good if you're the Centaur. Looks like the Panzerschrecks have spotted you. Oh, well, they missed. Rip. Finally, a Su-85 is coming through from Stront. That is, of course, a great decision. And, yeah, unfortunately, the Centaur is going to die. It does try to use the strafing support. It does a lot of damage, but it's not enough. Katyusha Barrage kind of getting some extra damage, but it's not, again, not that effective. So really, the big change, other than, the Germans gaining so much armor, is the fact that the Germans can hold 2 VPs. But they're going to need to do so a lot more consistently if they want to win this, because, again, they're at 156, whereas the Allies are at 350, which is a full 200 points ahead of what they are. And that's, not the best. Not the best. Not the best situation to be in if you're the Axis. To put that into perspective, that means about 3 minutes of triple cap. Of course, they are the ones about to get a triple cap on the Allies, which might not be bad for them. Just Black is really not spending his resources a lot. Should really start to get some more Jacksons. Finally, getting a second one. And now with the Su-85 in support, I feel like this KB1 is going to be in a great spot to deal with the Panzer IVs, because the Panzer IVs are going to just shoot at the KB1. The KB1 plays the role of, kind of a damage soaker. And then the Panzer IVs die to the Su-85. So that's pretty good. Germans continuing their trend of spamming bunkers. Actually kind of all over. Not a bad decision. Not a bad decision because they're pretty cheap. They don't cost any pop cap. And they're relatively effective at keeping the Allied infantry at bay. So that's doing well. Armor ready. Yeah. That's what being an Su-85 is all about. And yeah, looks like this Ostwind is gonna die. Dead. This Grenadier is also not having the best of days. Oh, this could be a crush. This could be a big crush, of course. The infantry section is getting behind there. Oh, that's a 17... Why is there a 17-pounder here? No, he stopped. He could have just moved here, and that would have been outside of the range. Dummkopf. That's a pretty retarded P4. So with the loss of that P4 and the loss of that Ostwind, the balance of power is starting to shift again into the Allied favor. We have 3 P4s for Numbien, plus some Stormtroopers. We have some engineers and some machine guns from Voice-Stealer, along with a Tiger and a Panzerwerfer. And then Hando Han has a Tiger. So despite the 2 Tigers, the Axis have lost a lot of forces in the last few minutes. So we're going to see if they can use these Tigers to get back into this game. They're going to need to do that relatively decisively and quickly. And I would not send them to the south, to be honest, because that's where the enemy tank destroyers seem to be hanging out. So if I were the Axis, I would try to use the Tigers and concentrate them up north to deal with enemy infantry units, while the tank destroyers are not going to have exactly the best lines of sight in these streets. Whereas in the south, as you can see, anything that these Jacksons or Su-85 want to shoot at, they have a very clear, very perfect line of sight that they can use to target the enemy. So that's kind of why. But we do have at least the concentration of the armor into one area. That's, of course, pretty good, because you always want that armor to be concentrated into one region so that it can use its maximum, potential. Germans down to 155 still. See if they can get back into this. Why am I shouting this? So now with 2 Jacksons on the field, and soon to be a third one, I would say, from Just Whack, with Su-85s coming in from Stront and KV-1s in support. We also have a AVRE, I guess, from CG Sniper, who's holding the north. Yeah, again, it's starting to get difficult for the German armor to really move through and crush the Allies. So again, the answer to my, to my knowledge is that these guys need to come up north, deal with the British, because like 2 Tigers plus a lot of Panzer IVs can really easily destroy a 17-pounder. Doesn't matter how much damage the thing does if it dies really quickly. And then swing around, take out this area, and use the infantry to take over all the points. And if they try to come, this is pretty difficult terrain for tank destroyers. Of course, one of those TDs went down already. For the price of 1 P4, is that worth the price? I would say no, because Jacksons are slightly more valuable and also more expensive. So both in terms of raw value, in terms of just numbers, and in value, as in how useful this thing is, I would say that was not the best of trades. But still, this is allowing the Allies, again, more free time up north, more free time up in the center, and also using capture mode in the south. That's very, very good from Stront, and he can really get that in. We do have the Tiger Ace coming through, so now the Allies know that this thing is around. Tiger Ace, of course, starts to get some nasty, nasty shots in on these riflemen. Tiger Ace, pretty scary. The Allies know, of course, that there's all these Tigers over here because they're using a recon plane all over this area. Good idea. Only now the Germans go for a pack. That was definitely a little late. Could have helped a lot against those Jacksons and Su-85. But now they have a big force together. That's a very scary force. Where's the third Tiger, though? It's back here repairing. Should probably be waiting for it and use all 3 Tigers at once in a big push. Again, I would say it would be a lot better to attack up north instead of headbutting with your Tigers down in the south, straight into the cage, If these are the Tigers, this is the cage. And as you can see, Su-85 getting a nasty shot in. This free 76mm also just pounding away, and all the guns in the rear are just having free reign to plop away rounds at the Germans. There goes another Panzer IV, there goes a third Panzer IV, and that's actually devastating for Numbian because he's got the Tiger Ace, so his income is very, very, very bad. So he can't really replace all the supporting vehicles he has just lost. He's lost 3 Panzer IVs in the last few minutes, so that's of course not very great. Here comes the Katyusha barrage to deal with the Nazi infantry. So that's of course quite good. And yeah, I think that that's going to be mostly the end because we've lost the Tiger, we've lost you know, a lot of Panzer IVs that can't be replaced, and the Allies are looking stronger than ever. Stronger than ever. So if they can come down, capture these points, the Germans are down to 120 VPs. So that's only 2 minutes worth of triple cap. Luckily, they are able to get some strafing runs from these aircraft, but damn, that was a huge mistake to throw in all the Tigers there without that much infantry support and also without that much recon. And especially, they already knew what was waiting for them, so they should have probably just, again, figured out if we just move up north of our tanks, we can just overrun what is here, and then just kind of turn around, envelop what is in the center, and really invest the Allies in the area. But no, they decided to take the, I guess, obvious route, you know, through the big open field where the sights of the Allied guns were trained, and that was a bit of a disaster. So kind of, you know, kind of got Kursked there, and yeah, I guess these Germans are not going to repeat that mistake ever again. I hope, at least. Moving across an open field, entrenched tank guns and tank destroyers, never the best idea. And yeah, here comes the last hurrah of the Nazis, finally moving up north, but now with only 1 Tiger, you know, the 17-pounder is way more than enough to deal with that. And also there's a Churchill AVRE that can really smash up that infantry. And now here comes the Allied GIs to recap the VP. So I'm guessing that that's going to be the end. Yeah, last 25 points. You know, just needs to finish off that guy. Again, I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you all for watching. Also, thank you to Stront for sending in the replay. Tally ho. Thank you to Stront for sending the replay. It was pretty good. And yeah, I hope I'll see you soon. Have a good day.